The core mandate of every customs establishment is not only to mount checkpoints at border areas and generate revenue. Their assignments are much more than that. They secure our borders to suppress the inflow of unsafe items. 2 months after his appointment, soldiers in Niger Republic overthrew the democratically elected President Muhammad Bazoum from power, and their action triggered ECOWAS to cut ties and shut down their borders with Niger. This measure prompted the Comptroller-General of Customs Acting CGC Bashir Adewale Adeniyi MFR to take off from Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport Abuja to Sokoto State, where he arrived at Sultan Abubakar International Airport at about 8:35 in the morning before he proceeded to Ilela border station. As a man of honor, the acting CGC decides to stop over at the palace of Sarkin Gobir of Godabawa, Alhaji Lawali Muhammad Zayyana, to pay him homage and to appreciate his support for the service.
It's our pleasure to be here, as explained by the CAC, the controller. We are on our way for a working visit to Ilela border. It was very right when in 2015, as part of the familiarization visit, we paid a visit to Ilela and we had a stop over in the palace. What the CSC may actually not know was that the visit came at a time when there was some issues affecting the community and the customs. And the report we had then was that you and members of your emirates played a very important role to settle that particular crisis, and it did not affect the relationship we had with your kingdom, and it did not affect the respect that we have for you. And we will continue to hold you in high respect. I will continue to recognize the important role that you play for us as a responsible organization and providing us leadership, guidance, and support. I am sure that you are aware of what is happening in our neighboring country, Niger. And it is on the directive of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that we take measures that will help to restore democracy in Niger and in other parts of West Africa, where the president is the chairman of ECOWAS. So this is why we're here. It is a kind of a confidence-building measure, and hopefully something that will also help to bring peace. It is not intended to either bring problems to the border community or create any economic hardship. We are hoping that it will be for a temporary period until such a period when they will be able to restore, completely the structure of democracy that was disturbed in that country. So this is the whole intention.
The Sarkin Gobir of Godabawa, out of delight, welcomed the CGC and his entourage to his palace, and then reassured him of his constant support.
We have a very long, cordial relationship with the custom officers, even before the former CG. We always try to see that there is good understanding between the community and the customs and other paramilitaries, because they are coming to work for the community, for the goodness of the community. They are stopping what is bad, what is not acceptable by the constitution. So that's why we are also an institution that sees to the promulgation of whatever the Constitution provides. So your work is in accordance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So we always assist to see that you are successful.
Sarkin Gobir of Godabawa Emir Zayyana's adulation and commendation to CGC after he received an award from him affirmed that customs would continue to enjoy the flavor of their cemented rapport and total compliance from his subjects. To reach Ilela, the last township where Nigeria shares a border with Niger from Sokoto, is a journey of about 80 kilometers. However, the outcome of the new exercise seems obvious as hundreds of drivers pulled over their loaded trailers to wait for the next order. Arriving at Customs Outstation Ilela, a team of officers and men of the Nigeria Customs Service, officers from other sister agencies, traditional rulers, and members of trade unions were all set to receive the CGC and hear from him. They all expect this chance to give them opportunity to voice out their concerns with regards the exercise.
Our visit is linked to the implementation of a directive given by the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammad Bazoum, in his capacity as the President of Nigeria and the Chairman of the Economic Community of West African States Authority of Other States, regarding the management of the situation in the neighboring Niger Republic. Following the review of the situation that has happened last month in our neighbor, and sequel to the decision taken collectively by the heads of states, member states of ECOWAS, the President has directed a number of economic measures to be taken in managing our borders with Niger Republic. The objective of this is basically to restore democracy in the sub-region. And various agencies of government have been given mandates, very firm mandates, to implement decisions that have been taken. One of these decisions is to effectively close our land borders with the Republic of Niger. The President understands the benefits that we can derive from regional integration that is driven by cross-border trade. But there is a decision that has been taken in the wisdoms of the heads of state of ECOWAS, and that decision has to be respected and it has to be implemented.
Some journalists who graced the function also had the privilege of having a one-on-one interview with the CGC.
My mission here is to restate the directive of President Muhammad Bazoum, not just as the Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, but also as the Chairman of ECOWAS, that has decided in their wisdom that one of the things we needed to do was to close the border. You are all aware that there are other measures that are ongoing at the diplomatic front. There are engagements that are going on with the authorities in Niger to ensure that we have a peaceful resolution of this crisis. So what we are seeing here in Jibia, in Ilela border, would be a temporary thing until we have a final resolution of the crisis in that place. And I'm happy that In my interaction with the community have pledged their support as law-abiding citizens. They have promised that they would support the customs and all the security agencies that are charged with the responsibility of implementing this decision of border closure.
The CGC was later taken to the border area, where he had a tete-a-tete briefing on the compliance status by Comptroller Musa Omale, the area controller in charge of Sokoto Zamfara Area Command. And now comes the time when Acting Comptroller-General of Customs arrived at Customs House, Sokoto, where he received a ceremonial quarter guard as a sign of welcoming him to Sokoto, after which he received a souvenir from the Customs Area Controller at his office. This is where the CGC's exercise of inspecting the level of compliance with the presidential order came to a close and marked the beginning of the journey to Katsina. In the tradition of the CGC, his first point of call was Katsina State Government House. The CGC formally addressed the Deputy Governor of Katsina State, Farouk Lawal, who represented the Executive Governor.
The reason for coming today is to pay a working visit to the border in view of a presidential directive that has given us the order to close the border with a neighboring country, Niger. I'm sure that you may have been following developments in our neighboring country and the situation that has called for this particular action at this point in time.
In response, the Deputy Governor expressed the commitment the government and the good people of Katsina State to abide by the presidential order.
As a government, a democratic government for that matter, we are not happy with what happened to our neighbors, the Niger Republic. The intervention of the ECOWAS and the directives and the steps taken by the President is one commitment to us. And we will be able to possible to sensitize our people to understand the rationale behind the clearing up the border. As a government, we don't have an issue with that. And as I commit, we will do the very best we can to sensitize our communities to understand why this has happened.
Now, time to embark on another journey of 50 kilometers to Customs Sokoto and Jibia outstation to examine the level of compliance with the presidential order and to interact with the residents of the border area and stakeholders. The CGC's first address was to officers comprising of other security agencies before he had a meeting with members of stakeholders. The CGC employed officers and men of the service at the border area to sensitize community members about the rationale behind shutting the borders down. The Acting Comptroller-General of the Nigeria Customs Service, Bashir Adewale Adeniyi MFR, then wrapped up his official visitation to one of the veteran customs officers in Katsina, Lawal Bagiwa, who retired as Assistant Comptroller-General at his residence in Katsina town. The acting CGC Adeniyi MFR told him that he decided to visit him out of respect in view of his meritorious and gallant service.
We feel very, very proud that we have you after your retirement. You are still doing this in the service of our fatherland. We pray that God will give you long life, God will give you good health, so that you will continue to do it. One final request that I will make, sir. As you do this, we also want you to continue to help Nigeria Customs Service. I know that you breathe and you feel customs more often at this period.
The retired Assistant Comptroller-General Bagiwa Lawal appreciated Acting CGC Bashir Adewale Adeniyi MFR for stopping by to greet him out of respect and congratulated him on his appointment.
I want to seize this opportunity on behalf of myself, people of Katsina, retired and serving customs officers of Katsina, to congratulate you for having this appointment as the Comptroller-General of Customs. Definitely we have every cause to celebrate. We have been following the development of the service right from the time I joined this service in 1965 to the time I retired in 1999 to date. We have seen a lot of things happen. You are lucky to have Mr. Adeniyi as the Comptroller-General of Customs, because I will very proudly say he's a thoroughbred. He is a custom officer to the core, and I have the privilege of one of the officers to have brought him up. I have no doubt in the capabilities of Mr. Adeniyi right from his time as our wonderful Papa Romeo Oscar. So definitely, I know what he can do. So definitely, he's a good learner, he's a good listener, and he's a good motivator. So I'm sure Customs has the right type of person to motivate it to greatness again. Thank God we have got back our job. Now we have got back the recognition of government.
The acting CGC then proceeded to the residence of former Comptroller-General of the service late Decoded to greet his family, specifically his elderly mother. The session was also blessed with special prayers to the late Comptroller-General of Customs Abdullahi Decoded. Late Decoded's family were elated to have received the CGC at their home and prayed that his tenure would be bright and hitch-free.